Hi, my name is Jay Pino, and I'd like to share a story. A TED Talk by the famous author Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie described the dangers of the single story, especially those used to disparage diversity. My example of this dynamic begins as a young military officer witnessing the dangers of a single story as they relate to influencers innocently or deliberately challenging the power of diversity. Around my 17th year in the military as a young military officer who just made the rank of captain, I transferred from a northern military base to one in the Deep South. Although I had taken courses on equal opportunity and diversity from the Defense Equal Opportunity Management Institute that helped me achieve an even deeper understanding of the dynamics affecting the appreciation for diversity, I'm not sure I was prepared for the single story examples I experienced simply by changing military assignments. One of the most blatantly obvious examples to me of a dangerous single story was that female African American military members were really only capable of performing administrative work at best and could rarely, if ever, attain a military rank above that of E5 or E6 before retiring after 20 plus years of service. Remember, the military rank ranges from E1 to E9, with E7 through E9 being the more senior leadership positions. The military unit I was assigned to prior to my transfer was 98.6% white, and I had not observed this dangerous single-story dynamic, although it may have been there if I had been more observant, until I transferred to the Deep South. I immediately recognized my new assignment's unit diversity was approximately 36% African American, but the leadership at the top, for example E8 and E9 ranks, lacked any African American females and very few African American males, which some said were just enough to stay out of trouble for that diversity thing. As I listened to the single-story observations of both enlisted and officer leaders, I realized the majority felt African American women in particular were not capable of leadership, and they both consciously and unconsciously erected barriers to their success. This dynamic greatly saddened me, and I spent the better part of 10 leadership years trying to change this story with a fair amount of success, albeit not without some personal cost. It would have been much easier for me to maintain the status quo, but that would have compromised all of my values in doing so, and I wasn't willing to do that. During the later years of my tenure with the unit in question, and shortly thereafter, 5 African American female unit members were promoted to the rank of E7 or above, with 2 of them retiring at the rank of E9, and they were the first and second African American women to achieve that rank in the entire history of the unit. The reason it took some time to influence the culture generating this type of dangerous single story is that a few of us like-minded leaders needed to advance in rank and leadership influence to make a change. It was readily apparent that any challenges to this single story by junior leaders was a ticket to low influence assignments, obscurity, transfer, or non-retention. Several current and retired leaders who propagated the single story were surprised to learn that female African American military members were not only capable of unit leadership, but could excel at it, with some even changing their minds. Because pockets of discrimination and social injustice continue to this day, even in the same unit I spoke of, it remains important to, in the words of Chimamanda Adichie, reject the single story. By simply learning about everyone's culture and the value of their contributions in providing equity in assignment, education, and leadership opportunities. The leadership faces of the unit I was in changed from those who looked like me to a much richer diversity of race, gender, and experiences, which ultimately raised the overall unit morale and mission performance. According to Mia Moa, author of Culturally Intelligent Leadership, we can change minds through storytelling. I thank you for this opportunity to share my story.